hello everybody. I wanted to just say, how can everybody here get involved in the community, and how can you keep up with things? Probably highlighting things that some of you might know, things that some of you just might have forgotten. Are all pieces we tend to give during implementations anyway, but you might not sort of remember them. So first off, how can you keep in touch with the community? Well, there's various different methods to reach out and talk to the community. We've got a live chat system, IRC, which you can get directly to just in a browser. You don't have to download a client or anything. It's a really friendly community, and because we're such an international group of people, you are bound to find people there pretty much 24 hours a day. But bear in mind that they might be from another country speaking another language, so there might be the odd bit of lost in translation. But generally, people will try and answer a question pretty much any time of the day. And then we've got the social media gurus out there. There is a Twitter handle which is regularly manned. If you want to keep up with Koha on the Twitter, then it is at KohaILS. And then there's the slightly more slower response, but hugely active mailing lists. We have various different mailing lists depending on what level you want to be involved in, and those are really helpful for everybody to get involved in. Librarians to librarians, developers to librarians, and it doesn't matter what technical expertise or lack of expertise you've got. The mailing lists are really popular and active. So we've talked about the team, and the team at the moment we've just opened up the votes and for the 2105 cycle, so the next 6 months after the November release. We've already got, well, from the current cycle, we've already got a few people on the team. It's nice to highlight that we've got Lucy doing documentation from PTFS, but we've actually got a few customers in there as well. I'd like to highlight that Henry's doing a great job of doing little bits of bug wrangling, which just means keeping an eye on Bugzilla and helping weed through things that might be duplicates, things that might have already been solved, and helping to test bugs that are of interest. And a bit of a special mention to Sally. She's working her way up the leaderboards in terms of testing and sign off. She hasn't got a specific role as such yet, but I might be trying to bend her arm and give her the recognition she's due in the next cycle, as she's doing a great job doing some sign offs. And as for working your way up those lists, if you ever want just a really quick heads up on how Koha is going as a community, you can take a look at the dashboards. The dashboard is just a quick heads up on how the community is doing at that moment. It shows things like currently most interesting active bugs, how many bugs are being signed off and quality assured, and it shows a leaderboard of who's been doing the most sign-offs in the last month, 6 months, and year. And it shows the most recent, a graph of most recent push to master or push to branch. So it's how you can really get a feeling for the ebbs and flows of community action, and see how active the community is. There's a huge amount of bug fixing and enhancements going on all the time, so it's really good. As far as sort of in-person interactions, Jonathan mentioned earlier, we have the Marseille Hackfest. That's a very sort of technically minded mini conference where some of us developers get together in Marseille each year. I've been lucky enough to attend that, but I would open it to anybody. The French do a great job of hosting us in Marseille, and it's open to not just developers. There's also documentation workshops and translation workshops, and certainly they bring quite a lot of French librarians in for parts of that, but they're encouraging to try and get some more librarians in general. It's great to have librarians and developers in the same room, because quite often we speak a different language, so it's nice to to see the whites of the eyes and be able to understand exactly the perspective of a librarian when you're doing a development for them. Another slightly easier way of getting involved is there's some now special interest groups that are organized by the Koha US, which is the North American Koha Users Group. It's misnamed really. Although it's run and organized by Koha US, they're very much open to being fully international, and they will happily rearrange meetings to be in time zones that fit with others. And there's lots of different interest groups, including cataloging, consortia, for example, acquisitions, various different demonstrations and documentation teams, working on user services, how to do basic web development and custom UI work. So there's quite a lot of special interest groups, and it may well be worth having a look at those if you're interested in joining in. So those are the main ways of interacting on a real live status. Then this is my "we need you" statement. So we need you. It would be great to see more of our customers on Bugzilla doing testing. Sally's been really showcasing the way. It would be good to have more people taking a look at bugs on Bugzilla. That's our main tracking for where we record the bugs going through worldwide and enhancements going through worldwide. Bugs is a bit of a misnomer. They're all recorded as bugs, even if they're an enhancement as opposed to a bug. And it's as simple as signing up for a quick account with your email address, and then searching for what you might perceive as a bug, finding if there's a title that makes sense, and then commenting. It's about having a quick test, or just reading and commenting on to say, give your perspective or your view. And if you want a quick and easy route in, I'd always recommend taking a look at bug 5158, which is Koha's got a sense of humor. So we all need a cookie and ice cream flavor. So if you've got some great cookie dough recipes, please post them there. Developers love eating cookies, so we're always looking for a new recipe. And then to help out with your testing on Bugzilla, I always try and highlight the sandboxes systems. The sandboxes are there and open to everybody, and they're basically a system to get an out-of-the-box Koha with basic demo data up and running, and you can apply the bugs to them so that you can run quick tests, or just have a play with a new feature you've read about in one of the newsletters or one of the bugs that you've looked on Bugzilla. So that's kind of the quick ways of interacting. Finally, I'd like to highlight that we've got a Koha conference coming up, 19th to 21st of October for the sort of presentation week days, and then there's some workshops on the 23rd to the 25th. It's all being done online, and it's all international, so it'll be over various time zones. And I just had a few presentations I thought worth highlighting that piqued my interest. So on day one, there's 46 libraries, 15 groups, and one consortium, which I thought was really interesting to hear how really large consortia can work in Koha. From the manual and documentations team, there's from the manual to a documentation portal. That's also on day one. And then we've got Janet doing a presentation on the day two, which is "You like tomatoes, I like tomatoes." So she's focusing on how you can tweak Koha to work in all of the different environments and different nationalities out there.
So yeah, just thanks again, Martin, for your fascinating insight into the Koha community, and I hope he's inspired some of you to actually take a look at some of the resources out there, if nothing else.